back live. What's going on? How we doing?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Managing this whole thing. It's interesting. With the on live. So I knew it's going to be a little rough, but I wanted to make it happen, and I want to be authentic. So we're making it happen.
Just got to keep it real. It's technology.
Yeah, you gotta keep it real. So, Miss Annette Fraley, thank you so much for your time. Why don't you share everybody your story? Who you are?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So my name's Annette Fraley. I started my way to real estate in the mortgage industry in 1998. Before I got my real estate license in 2005. Became a licensed broker in 2009. We opened up our own company in 2016. And we've been running Synergy One, now Synergy One Group with EXP. So we're super excited about that change as well. We have an escrow company, Safeguard Escrow. We also run a couple of We Buy Ugly Houses Homevestor franchises, along another couple businesses as well. That's kind of my story, how I got into the industry. It's kind of funny because Steve and my husband, got licensed at the same time in 2005. Thinking we were going to be this dynamic duo power couple. Never worked together ever. Literally never did any deals. But it was cool because we learned a lot. The market hit. So we got, licensed in 2005, fast forward 2007. The market was shifting, 2008, the crash. Steve became an REO asset manager. I had left my job, which I probably made like 80 grand a year, which I thought was a lot of money at the time.
Right.
And I was thinking, what did I do? Like, why did I leave that to get into this business? I hardly know anything about real estate. The market is tanking. So I started doing BPOs because I came from a default servicing background. So I was told do BPOs. And you can probably get in our system. So that's kind of what I did. I did a ton of BPOs against my coaching because at the time I was doing Mike Ferry one-on-one coaching, and they're like, "What? Short sales, BPOs? You're wasting your time. Stop it." But whatever. I was just doing whatever I could at the time to stay afloat, to be honest with you. And it just transitioned into a few, an REO account, and then another one, and then another one. Steve ended up actually, becoming an REO asset manager as well. So yeah, it just transitioned into that. And then, REO, eventually all that business went away in around 2012 or so. So it was time to pivot for us again. So we kind of pivoted back into the investment side, and that's kind of what we've been doing ever since then, is buy, fix, and flip. I would say probably as the market's gotten tighter the last couple of years, we've started doing more buy and hold stuff. So kind of building a rental portfolio. And now, since March, it feels like it's time to pivot again. Like, the world is changing as we know it. And that's kind of where we're at. It's a little bit about my story.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It's really amazing, and I always like to have people share their story because just to see where you're at and where you came from, because a lot of people are just getting their journey started, right? So you could really see how that happens. And you mentioned something, right? The industry's shifting. What kind of things are you doing to shift with the market? Like right now, what are you implementing as far as changes goes for your business?
As soon as this all hit, there was an adjustment period for us of, wow, we got to stay home and you got to slow way down that we're not used to. So I think that was the first adjustment that we had to kind of come to grips with and terms with, of just slowing things down a little bit. And I think when you do that, it allows a creative space to open up for yourself. It allows a space of like you really looking at what's important. What do you want to do? What are you trying to create? And we've shifted from, flipping basically. So we're not really actively buying homes unless it's, super deep deals, to really looking at other opportunities, other business opportunities. Number one, I think is a big thing that we're looking at, and focusing on our other businesses as well. But I think as far as like, my transactional business, if you would, like real estate, is like one of the things I realized is, I've always considered myself a listing agent and just really focusing on listings, like probably 90% of my business is listings. I mean, I very rarely work with buyers unless they're like family or friends or something like that. So pivoting right now, our buyer market is so huge. With the rates the way they are is really like opening up that opportunity with the buyers and focusing on that, and that being an opportunity. We do some direct mail marketing, and I realized too, it's like another pivot is online marketing because everybody is online. So It's like having the awareness that it's time to stay flexible and roll with the punches, if you would, of what's going on, and really putting, the efforts in online marketing and focusing a little bit more on buyers. And I think specifically, you always kind of try to focus on the higher price points as a listing agent. Mm-hmm. But I think right now, when we strategically look at the market, you start to realize that the areas that are still having growth is those economic areas that are getting a bump because the buyers, the interest rates are so low that there's an influx of buyers that can now hit the market.
Exactly.
So that's it's kind of one of the things that we're pivoting and focusing on as well.
Thank you for sharing that. And I'm asking everybody this question. So what time do you wake up? What time do you wake up?
Well, my alarm goes off at 5:45, but I'm usually up out of bed by 6:15.
Okay.
Right. By 6:30.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I wish it could be like 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. like Ricardo. He's very inspiring to me, and I do follow him all the time for that. So thanks, Ricardo.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay. So 5 a.m. And then you already shared, what kind of, changes you're doing. So what share with everybody, what's your why? And then what do you do? What you do? What drives you?
My biggest why is my family, is one of the things, but within that, there's a real desire for me, to not only like share with my family, but my friends, I'm a Latina, like my heritage, people where I come from, is that you could do this. Like anybody can do this. And this is the thing that I love about real estate and I love about being an entrepreneur, because everybody has the exact same 24 hours and the ability to create true wealth. And if we really look at like successful people or wealthy people in the world, like not just our world closely, but in the entire world, most of the wealth in the world, like I would say probably 90% or more of the wealth in the world is created through real estate. And we all have that opportunity. And I feel like as real estate agents, we forget that and we become transactional and we're just chasing that next transaction. But it's really, how do you create true wealth with the opportunities that we have? Because instead of selling that investor that property, it's like, how do you create the opportunity where you can do it? How can you create to start raising debt equity and start using other people's money so you can buy that house for yourself and invest it and get a renter in it instead of renting a house, or all those little things. And I feel like, being in the position that we are, like where we can create that. And I'm like, if I can create it, like, so can you. And it's simple. Right. And I want everybody to get that for themselves. I really do. This is completely doable.
You know what? I just remembered right now, I did so many investments. Like we did over 550 through 2009 to 2014. I didn't make the profit on those things. I did that for another investor, 550 transactions, averaging $2 million. And what you just said is absolute key. Own it. You become the investor. You become that person, partner with somebody.
For sure. And there's so many great mentors. I mean, just everybody that you've had on the call today so far, like we don't have to go out and reinvent the wheel, guys. It's just go out, find a mentor, follow them. And just the biggest thing is be prepared to be disciplined and take massive action on what you really want. You got to get so crystal clear about it, because otherwise it's just not going to happen,
Yeah, 100%. So you got about 3 more minutes, Miss Annette. You got about 3 more minutes here. but it's just like you've dropped so many nuggets in such a short period of time. What is one thing that you would like, one or two things that you would say to somebody out there that is a newer agent or somebody that wants to get to that next level? What would you say to them as advice?
I would say take a moment. I always say take a moment to slow down so you could speed up. Sometimes we're going so fast, we're just going through the motions in life. And I think it's so important for us to go inside and look inside yourself, like what inspires you? What is your why? Why are these things important to you? And really get clear on it and take massive action. Like I can't stress that enough, that we have to remember, like the mediocre is not going to get it done, So if you want it, go after it, and it's there for the taking, Yeah.
How do you got so much fire, Miss Annette? How much you got so much fire? Like I met you the first time. I think we were briefly at the brokerage, and we met you and Steve. Man, you guys have always been on top of it. Boom, 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 making it happen. How do you bring that fire every single day?
Steve is a huge part of that for sure. Absolutely. He inspires me. And I think it's surrounding yourself with people that inspire you. Align yourself with people that are doing bigger and better things than you. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Remember that. Because there's so much out there for us to do and learn, and more importantly, give. There's other people that, there's people that will share with you, and then you can also go and share with other people. So I think if you remember that, and I'm just built of service. My mom is the same way. And I think if you can remember that, man, there's so much to be fired up about.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Annette. I just want to acknowledge you for your time. Thank you for adjusting with the time a little bit. I know that you had to wait a little bit longer than your speaking time. Thank you for working with us. Thank you for sharing all those nuggets. And I know people can reach out to you via social media as well, right? To ask you questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I acknowledge you for your leadership and bringing that fire. So thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for putting a platform like this on together for our industry. It's so needed. For all those people out there that are listening, that are inspired, reach out to myself, reach out to anybody on this panel, guys, because you could do it too.
I love that. 100%. We can all make it happen. Thank you so much, Miss Annette. I appreciate you. See you later.
You're welcome. Thank you. Ciao.
All right. Bye-bye.